Shalom Akim. I like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, trailblazers of Israel. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. And I just had some quick information, right? Because one of the things that is going to eventually happen, we know it's going to be the famine of the word. The Lord is basically going to, like the scriptures say, stop the mouths of his prophets. Right? He's gonna have it where we're no longer going to be found on the streets. If our videos either going to be deleted or the internet is going to be inaccessible, or however it happens, and a lot of people are going to be confused and looking for answers, and that's why the scriptures say to seek the Lord early while he may be found, before the day of trouble comes. And recently, you've had some of these internet cables get hit, and I just wanted to read a couple of articles, go over a couple of scriptures over it, because disrupting a nation's information, because that's wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our time. But if they take away a lot of that instant access information people have of their phones, then they can cause a lot of confusion, and that would lead to great warfare. This is another reason why this region is getting so hot. Joel 2:20 is right around the corner. It says Red Sea cables have been damaged, disrupting internet traffic. Right, which the Houthis, I believe they say they are the Yemen or wherever they're at in this region, but Yemeni forces. But then you have other forces here as well. It says damage to submarine cables in the Red Sea is disrupting telecommunication networks and forcing providers to reroute as much as a quarter of traffic between Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, including internet traffic. Cables belonging to 4 major telecoms networks have been, quote unquote, cut, causing significant disruption to communications networks in the Middle East, according to Hong Kong telecoms company HDC Global. So this is a supply for Moab. HGC estimates that 25% of traffic between Asia and Europe, as well as the Middle East, has been impacted, it said in a statement Monday. The company said it is rerouting traffic to minimize disruption for customers and also extending assistance to affected businesses. HGC did not say how the cables had been damaged or who was responsible. South African-based Seacom, which owns one of the cable systems affected. So South Africa, two of the BRICS nations, told CNN that repairs wouldn't begin for at least another month, partly because of the length of time it takes to secure permits to operate in the area. Underwater cables are the invisible force driving the internet, with many funded in recent years by internet giants such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook parent company Meta. And what you'll see is a lot of these cables are owned by these different tech corporations, which you have satellites, but satellites only transmit limited information. 99% of all the internet is transmitted underwater in these undersea cables. Right? Here's a map of them. It ain't the most clear, so excuse me for that. But I'm just showing you how they work. Miles and miles of undersea cable. Right? U.S. across the sea. Look at it. All the way over to Europe. And then underwater here, underwater there. And look at the Red Sea. And, the question comes in mind, because this is thousands of meters down under the Red Sea. Now the Yemenis are using missiles. They're using drones, which they're talking about the missiles they're using, like sugar and fertilizer, and then they use a drone with a tracking system or something like that. I'm not actually there to see it, but this is what they're saying, which makes me wonder how could they get all the way thousands of meters underwater to cut or to damage an undersea cable. Doesn't make sense. And here's the cable, which is interesting. These are fiber. Well, the information comes from number 8. Right, optical fibers. The way it works is a laser shining through, and then the laser transmits information. Right, basically a light. So it's light bouncing through. Right, like the apostle always goes into, how the phone is like the awarium and the thummim. Right, lights and perfection. Well, the way information is transmitted is basically light. Right? You look on your phone, it's a light. I could tap it, I could drag it, I could, expand it. Right? This is fiber optics inside petroleum jelly. Another petroleum byproduct, which you really shouldn't. There's better things to use than petroleum jelly. This helps protect. I never understand why these boxers make millions of dollars, and then in the middle of a fight, or UFC fighters, they're putting petroleum jelly on an open sore, which that's gonna put petroleum into your bloodstream. Millions of dollars that they still don't know that. Anyway, number 6, it's inside a copper or aluminum tube, inside a polycarbonate, inside of an aluminum water barrier, inside of a stranded steel wires. Sometimes I'll see copper when I look it up. Inside mylar tape, inside polyethylene, which is like a strong plastic. So for you to cut all the way through to the optical fibers, you know what I'm saying, that takes a lot of bite. That's not just a random incident or a random bullet. You know what I'm saying, that some kind of something with some hydraulic pressure had to cut through to get all the way to that. And it says underwater cables are the invisible force driving the internet, with many funded. I believe I read that. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. The destruction of cables in the Red Sea comes weeks after the official Yemeni government warned of the possibility that Houthi rebels would target the cables. The Iranian-backed militants have already disrupted global supply chains by attacking commercial vessels in the crucial waterway. So now you have 2 factors to bring people in, to bring other nations into the region. Well, 3. Number 1, they're backed by the Iranians, which, we already know the campaign against them, led by the United States. All right, number 2, they're attacking the supply chain, which has been reports that they're saying we didn't, and that it was actually American or British submarines in the region, which we know that they have. And then, number 3, they're also saying that the information, feed, aka these cables, are being attacked too, which would lead to warfare. And like it says, Psalms 19. And 2, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. And that's why, because these different cables have connected these different countries around the world. All right, verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Their line is going out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. All right, and basically, these different lines go out, and this is one of the ways that um, this is the way that this word has reached the four corners of the earth. All right, because we didn't actually physically go to a lot of these different countries. Right, the apostles never traveled to a couple of places, around the world, but they don't have time to do that. But this word is going out through this line. That's why we always say the internet was created for us. I have to send this word out along these different lines. These different places have internet, and technology is big business now. Okay, everybody has a podcast, everybody has a show, everybody wants to be, on TV, and they got a camera phone, all this different stuff, big tech, stocks, and monitoring this on your phone, that on your phone. If you don't have a phone, you're basically like a pariah in this day and age. You miss out. All right. So for them to target, communications for these different countries, which two of them happen to be BRICS. I don't think I read about the other cables, who they belong to, but two of them happen to be BRICS nations. This is going to be a problem. And here's just a view inside fiber optics. Like I was saying, light bounces through. Esau, man, they really did a deep search when you look at, how their information and communications work. It's all based on light. It's all based on, zeros and ones. Now, going to other reports, you're going to have a good laugh. Israeli press say AA1, which is a different cable, CCOM in Europe, India, Gateway, damaged by rebels. CCOMs confer issues but not cause. Right, Israeli press, including the Jerusalem Post and Globes, suggest 4 cables, right? The ones I just read have been damaged in the Red Sea. Let me jump to the good part. Because basically, for them to lay these cables down, they got to send the ship in. The ship got to have all that cable on it, and it's got to lay the cable down. I don't think they could just send somebody who could just go underwater and weld and reconnect the cable. You know what I'm saying? Like like in your house, you could just you could pull out some old cable, put some new line down. No, I believe they would have to replace the whole thing. All right, it says, where's the good part? Okay, he said he also posted that no cable ship provider was willing to provide repairs in the area, and that insurance companies would cancel policies for cable ships attempting to operate in Yemeni waters. All right, so hey, this is a premise for war. We can't get in there into the region to operate and to fix our cables. We're disconnected from world information. We're disconnected from these different lines. We need to get into that region. And of course, you know how this is gonna go. We're gonna go to the United Nations. They're gonna talk to them, this or that. They're gonna decide to go in and do this, and then all of these other nations with interests, primarily China, Iran, Russia, they're also gonna make their move too. Like, hey, wait a minute. All right, it says the Iran-linked Houthis have been attacking commercial ships. Last year, Middle East Media Research Institute, a think tank founded by a former Israeli intelligence officer and a political scientist described as a neoconservative and revisionist Zionist on Wikipedia, said Telegram channels reportedly affiliated with the Houthis have made implied threats against the subsea cables in the Red Sea. This news was later picked up in mainstream media worldwide, government ministry. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then it goes on more. And this just goes to show you the power of the Lord, because before any of these cables were ever laid, the Lord opened up the sea for us to walk through. All right, Isaiah 63:12, that led them by the right hand of Moses with his glorious arm, dividing the water before them to make himself an everlasting name, that led them through the deep as a horse in the wilderness, that they should not stumble. And it was the Lord. The Lord split that sea, and then I believe Joshua split Jordan River. Joshua split the Jordan River, which they say the Jordan River can range from 50 to 200 feet. And then it's however many miles wide. There's different numbers they say, but they say in depth it can be from 20 to 50 feet, or 20 to 100 feet, and in certain places it's like 5 to 10 feet. Right, but it's still impressive. It shows you the power of the Heavenly Father, and nobody has passed that feat to this day. Which they'll say that of course, it may have been the Suez Canal. That's still, these places are 50 feet, 100 feet down, and the Lord actually, made it dry. Right? These were miracles which Esau cannot redo. Even though they have, their own technology, they've been given a certain level of power, they can't outdo the Heavenly Father. All right, so I just look at these things in comparison to what my Father can do. And with him, nothing is impossible. This is Joshua 3 and 13. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above. And they shall stand upon a heap. And it shall come to pass, when the people remove from their tents to pass over the Jordan, the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people. And as they bear the ark will come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest. Yep, so matter of fact, this is the time of harvest where the water was the deepest. Right? That the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap very far from. So they actually saw it stop. A heap is a pile. A heap, and rose up upon a heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zaratan, and those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off. And the people passed right over against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground. So they wasn't even, because, if something's underwater, like I grew up by the Mississippi River, it used to, in the time, it'll grow up and then it'll recede. It'll go all the way down. And then even when you walk on it after it receded for a certain period of time, it'll still be, super, super muddy, because, it ain't, it's not bedrock, it's mud, it's silt, it's sand under there. But this was actually dry ground directly after the water stopped. That's a miracle. All right, it says, stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. Man. So, hey man, the Lord, and we're coming to those times where these miracles they're going to be done again too. All right, the Lord said, you're going to do greater miracles. All right, the saviors in Israel are going to show themselves. The Lord is gonna make His power known. He's gonna make His men known. He's gonna bring fame to the names of the prophets, throughout the world. Right. So call Allah Yum La Yahal Bashim Awashad, the water for the inspiration, and Shalom.